Welcome to the NoJetStress Podcast, where we explore traveler wellbeing solutions for business and frequent flyers seeking to conquer jet lag and live healthier lives. I'm your host, Christopher Babayode, ex-flight attendant, traveler wellbeing advocate, nutritional therapist, and author. Welcome back to the concluding episode of my interview with Shannon Weidekamp of Unbridled Air and her journey from corporate flight attendant to CEO. We jump right back into Shannon giving us an overview of Unbridled Air's business and the culture they're nurturing in the business aviation space.
Flight Academy is another side of the business that we have, which is it's flight education. You get your private license all the way up to your ATP. But what we have looked at from a holistic point is, the education starts earlier. It starts at the kindergarten level. And whether or not we go into a classroom and somebody wants to be a pilot, there's 380 different jobs in aviation and aerospace. I think that from starting out at the kindergarten level through the different organizations and processes that we kind of bring in, it helps set kids up for a successful career path. We talk a lot with some of the middle school and high school kids about lifestyle choices if they're going to go into aviation, because a lot of times you have certain tests you have to pass, whether you have to pass a drug test, you have to pass a background test. We want them to know early on that things that they do now may affect their career later if they want to go into that. The work that I've done with the other organizations, just fantastic people that I've worked with, from education, from whether it's specifically women's groups, whether it's specifically with flight attendants, flight technicians, whether it's with kids, whether it's with, people who've been in the industry for years. I think that education is just, we have to continue to educate ourselves because none of us saw, a pandemic coming, as you said. That's something. So it's like, what's next?
Case in point, here we are. We're dealing with the way things have shaken out since then.
Absolutely. I greatly missed having you here in the U.S. too. We have to find some way that we can bring you in and incorporate your knowledge to the rest of us. Yes, a lot of what we do is classroom things, but it's very, very, very hands-on. We want kids to see themselves as inventors and engineers, and that's how literally we started out. When you look at Da Vinci and you look at the Wright brothers, yes, and everybody who came before us, that's where the innovations occurred, was in those people that saw things differently. So that's one thing that we do. Through the National Aeronautic Association, which is the Aerosports Aero Club of the U.S., I am the education delegate to the FAI, which is the international organization that promotes air sports. They're the record keepers of anything with aviation, aerospace, and space in general. So the Artemis mission that was just a couple of weeks ago was fascinating. The NAA had to certify the record, the various different records for the U.S., but then the FAI certified those records for the world in aerospace. So it's an organization that encompasses so many other things that are, you think of aviation and it's like you and I think of airplanes and we think of pilots, we think of flight attendants, mechanics. This goes into things like gliding and skydiving, aero modeling, which is rocketry and building model airplanes. It goes into things that are different aspects of aviation, but it's all still part of the industry and what we don't always think of it. We don't think of hot air ballooning as something that is, we may not be putting a lot of passengers on there and taking them, but it is part of aviation.
So if we can sort of like look back into the business aviation aspect, if you were to go back, what kind of strategic plan do you think would be quite useful for an outfit to consider?
Well, I think one thing that can be done is where people can share their own personal journey as much as they want to, because I think that is always encouraging to other people to know that there's somebody else out there that you can have that support system, because I think the support systems are absolutely huge, whether that's your family, whether that's the people that you work with. because, you do have a work family and it's the same dynamic, but sometimes they get along better than regular family. But I think having a platform of some type where people can share their journey, that's, I think, a big thing. But I think as an employer, bringing those things in to create the experiences of awareness through activities that bring the camaraderie and the support is probably one of the best places, I think, that you can start.
Who owns well-being?
It's ourselves. We have to be willing to look at ourselves and take some responsibility for that. Asking for help when you need help, I think, is a big thing. You don't know what somebody's going through, whether it's health-wise, with their kids, with their family, unless you have some, and you don't have to have everything personal right out there, but you do have to be willing to say, hey, I have a situation that I just need some grace with. And, if I seem off, I'll let you know. But I think that, the wellness is our own to look after.
To follow on from that, having that supportive environment that we spoke about also is the counterbalance. Working for British Airways, as I did for 2 decades, one of the things that we had as a crew community is we had a crew care organization, which meant that you could pick up the phone 24/7, wherever you were in the world. And, it was a lifeline because it was something that was always there. They didn't always have the exact answer for you, but it was something that you could turn to.
Absolutely.
Would there be 1 or 2 things that you think would be useful that help people along their journeys in terms of their traveler wellbeing health?
I think that there probably isn't just a single thing because it's an individualized journey. But again, I think that probably just answered my own question right there. Find out what's important for the crew members. It is going to be different for each person. So I think look at each person as an individual and find out what it is that they need. I think that there's definitely a lot of room. I'm not sure that I have met one of our clients that has the full scope of, again, the things that affect them. And I think as passengers, whether you're flying private or you're flying commercial, I don't think most people are thinking about the travel well-being. They may be thinking about COVID protocols or control. They're not thinking about whether they're hydrating. They're not thinking about, are they taking supplements that can help them be more productive? And one thing that I know we touched on when we got to meet earlier in the year was the effects of all of these types of things on business travelers who have to make decisions when they get to where they're going. They may be making a multi-million-dollar decision. They may be making a decision because they're work for the government, that they are an ambassador, and they have to make a decision that's going to affect not only themselves, but a whole group of people, and making sure that they have resources on board. And I think that that's something that we can do, making sure that they have resources, making sure that our crews are informed.
So for someone who would want to, if someone wanted to come along and see what you guys are up to, where do they find you? What is the full, product offering that you have for people? And what kind of platforms online can they avail themselves of to get to know Unbridled better?
Our website is www.flyunbridled.com. We are also on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So what we offer is personalized service for our clients, whether that is through straight charter, whether it's through a fractional ownership or a jet card, prepaid hours. We offer all of those same services that many other companies do. We look at it from, again, that individual perspective as far as what is it you need. It's not cookie cuttered out. We want everyone to have a personal experience. We also, when you get back to talking about the culture of things, we work with people like yourself to find things that we can do to make the experience better from a health and wellness side of things. We also work with all of our staff goes through training with Protocol School of Washington. which teaches cultural etiquette and protocol. We want to establish ourselves as offering the highest level of service and the individualized service for our clients, a bespoke type of thing. Of course, we operate globally, and we're working with an estate in the UK that we're going to offer some specialized trips over across the pond to come and see you.
That sounds lovely. Thanks for hanging out with the NoJetStress podcast audience. We have a tradition where we ask the guest to help us understand the world better. And the question to help us do that is for you to tell us what your favorite destination is around the world and why, and you're not allowed to choose your home country.
Personally, Ireland. I find a lot of just solace in the green landscape of Ireland, historical towns, a more relaxed lifestyle than what we have.
Would you care to name any number of cities or towns in Ireland?
Well, I have to say I was named after the city Shannon. So I have to say, that's got to be one of my favorite places, right? But my son and his wife got married in Limerick, which is beautiful.
Shannon, thank you so much for spending this time with us. We look forward to having you on the NoJetStress podcast in the future.